Lincoln Park United Methodist Church has been a part of my life for 82 years. Seen good times, we've seen some bad times. I think really right now, this church has a new spirit.
I found out real quickly the jewel for this church was the people that had been here. They would love anybody that walked in the doors. We have a basketball court out behind the church that's real active. It's one of those so close but yet so far situations. So we decided to go to them. We take them waters, but I walk up to someone and they think I'm about to kick them off the basketball court, and I offer them a glass of water. Another connection point is through a lunch meal every other week. I call it a love meal. And the heart of that is for folks that are living on that fringe, one check away, one illness away from trouble. We can offer them a meal every other week to extend their budget. Another great thing that we did yesterday is we plowed the fields for our community garden. We're very excited on many levels. Gardening is so biblical. We have 6 large garden areas out back, and Amy, our next door neighbor to the church, actually owns that project. We're going to go back door to door again and invite the community to participate in the garden. One of the things I've learned since I got here is that connection may not be to Sunday morning. Connection may be to a basketball court, to a garden area, or even on their front porch. It's all about connection in that relationship, to bring people to the point where they can just hear the good news.
And we looked for months and months trying to find that right church, and everyone we went in, it just didn't feel right. And then one Saturday in November, a couple of folks from this church right here came to our door with an invitation to come to Lincoln Park United Methodist Church, and gave us some literature and so forth. And the next day my wife was not feeling well at all, and I told her, I said, you know what, I'm going to respond to that invitation. We only live about a block and a half away, so I walked over here and went to the church that Sunday morning. When I came home after the service, I just came in the house, sat down next to Kay, and I said, I think we found our church. It's been a very, very long time since I have felt the kind of warmth that I felt when I came in here, and the kind of acceptance from the parishioners that were here. It's just like I'd been going here all along. And really, for the first time in a very long time, I felt the power of the Holy Spirit. And I identified with Pastor John's message, and I truly realized at that moment that the vision and the purpose of Pastor John's had actually matched mine. And I had never really found that in a pastor. It was a vision and a purpose to reach a hurting community out here, full of pain, full of addictions, full of lost hope. I believe I found a church that I actually believe that Jesus would attend if he were here.
I don't like the thought that even one child gets swept under the rug and forgotten and misses out on God's grace. That fear was realized a few weeks ago when a little boy came to our commotion group on Wednesday nights. And commotion is just kind of shortening Kids in Motion, where we try to teach them to be disciples. The little boy, he asked me about the mural that's on the wall. So I walked him through it, and with his responses and questions, I felt like he understood and even already knew this. He was a very smart little boy. So we proceeded with a lesson, Bible stories, different stories that had to do with a boat. And every happening and every person that I mentioned, no, he had never heard of that. And so finally he admits, this is really my first time ever seeing a Bible. So I don't know what's in it. And I said, well, Mark, you knew before, you heard before that Jesus sacrificed his life for us because of his love for us, so that we can get to God. You heard that before. And he said, yeah. I said, oh, did your grandmother tell you? And he says, no, Miss Kay, you told me before. So 20 minutes prior to that moment was his first knowledge that there was a God who loved him. And so time kind of stood still just for a moment, just realizing this child is a blank canvas. And it was up to me at that particular time to put something on that canvas in case I never saw him again or he never walked into another church. But unfortunately, our city streets are filled with children just like Mark that have no real knowledge of God and His grace and of Jesus' love for us. And that's just overwhelming to think of, and they have even no venue to learn that. So we need to reach them when we can.
It always comes back to love. You talk about a building or you talk about programs, it always comes back to love each other as Christ loved us, so that Lincoln Park can look here and see His disciples. So that's our prayer and that's our hope, is that we can just be that shining light on the hill for this community that we're called to serve.